So let me begin by talking about the Climate Prosperity Project. Denver is one of 7 communities that have been selected to participate in this project. And once again, the Climate Prosperity Project, which is funded by the Rockefeller Brothers Foundation, is really a technical assistance project. Basically, in 2007, when the project was started, the Rockefeller Brothers Foundation wanted to challenge the prevailing thought that climate protection and economic growth could not work together. The Climate Prosperity Project believes that in growing a vibrant economy, innovation, job creation, strategic investment, efficient use and reuse of resources is how one grows a vibrant economy. Those of us in economic development understand that completely. But when you combine that to what we are trying to do in climate protection and managing climate change, it creates a new opportunity for this country. The climate change movement is all about those things that I talked about. And it is the intersection of sustainability, reducing our consumption, that really is creating this whole new set of innovative technologies, innovative companies, creating new jobs, and quite frankly, in looking at the papers over the last 3 months, it is almost the only ray of hope in many communities in terms of driving new economic growth. As we see some of the traditional businesses fall by the wayside, stalwarts in our communities all over this country, it is the clean technology sector, it is efforts that we will use to be more energy efficient. That is where there is some growth and continued investment. And so the Climate Prosperity Project has brought together a very eclectic collection of individuals. I describe it as a forum where blue suits and green suits come together. You know, this movement is really very interesting in that there are people in the room talking about this combination of sustainability and economic development growth who weren't in the room. As I admitted earlier, the business community came to this a little late. The Climate Prosperity has an advisory board made up of the International Economic Development Council, which is quite frankly, the professional association for international economic development professionals. It has the Council on Competitiveness, a think tank around competitive practices throughout all industries there. The International Downtown Business Association. These groups are meeting with the Environmental Defense Fund, other environmental and nonprofit organizations, the Apollo Alliance, Green Jobs for All. Once again, talking about this strategy and this intersection. And once again, I think that bringing these people together as a part of this project is really critical, because it is the combination and the relationship development that will essentially allow us to accelerate this work. I also think that it's really important to know that those of us who are in economic development, who have a responsibility to try to assess the strengths and weaknesses of our community and take advantage of any opportunities for growth, have come to the table in some ways very humbled. We know, based on what has happened over the last 6 months, that the things that we thought and believed in terms of our economy have changed. And so it's refreshing to be in the room with environmentalists, with labor, talking about what it is we as a community are going to have to change in order to, once again, save the planet, which has always made sense, but grow our economy, which now has become equally important. And so I don't want to underestimate what that model means at this time in our country. We have a new administration. President Obama has always, on the campaign trail, talked very aggressively about making an investment in sustainability to create green jobs. $100 billion investment. The plan is being debated right now on Capitol Hill, but $100 billion investment in sustainability will be important. As we look at the stimulus package and decide to make investments, it's important that, once again, and it will come through states, that we seriously consider what types of investments to make. From the Climate Prosperity Project, we know that efforts to improve our efficiency, that's investing in the green infrastructure, smart grid for the distribution, is important. Supporting investments in solar, wind, and biofuels are very critical. I think the other thing around weatherization and retrofitting of both businesses and residences are very important, because much of that work is labor intensive. It will in fact help revitalize our lagging construction industry. It will create job opportunities for many of our communities that have not really been able to participate in this economy. The barrier to entry for green jobs is relatively low. And in our state, we've been working on the project, I see Mary Jeffries here, from our WIRED project, Workforce Innovation for Regional Economic Development. She is our energy sector lead, and so we've had an opportunity to interface with some of our new companies who have arrived here, that's Vestas, RES, companies of that type, in helping provide them with job training programs. And those programs are connected with many of our local nonprofits. Once again, that's a part of the triple bottom line. Once again, reducing our energy consumption, creating an economic opportunity around innovation, new job development and growth, and then being able to have a social impact in communities who have been hit environmentally, but also who have been hit economically around the lack of jobs. And so the Climate Prosperity Project is really about the assembly of all the ingredients, not just here in Denver, but throughout our country, to accelerate our understanding about this important causal connection. I'm going to end now because I know we have some other speakers coming up, but I'll be available to take maybe some specific questions about the project or maybe some of the things that we're doing in Denver. Thank you for being here.